Welcome back to Boss Crew.
Hello, people. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello,
Hello, party
hello.
people in the house.
Indeed, party people. Yes. So we haven't done a touch base on what we're doing lately to study and such. And so today's topic is what they don't tell you to do when you're done with classes.
Uh-oh.
'Cause,
Which they
yeah,
don't tell you.
yeah, tell you. Dun, dun, dun. I feel like I need that sound in the background now. Dun, dun, dun.
They don't tell you.
Yeah, and it's a lot of things. Like as we've been starting and kind of going and growing in this show, we're seeing all of the different things that we've kind of taught each other and learned on our own on how to keep up, not just with technology, but keep up with the knowledge that we learn. If you're not in the field doing this every day, how do you remember it? How do you how do you kind of how do you apply it? How do you use it? What are the things you can do? And everyone says something different. Everybody says something different. So I know Christian says the people he follows says this. Lorenzo has a cousin and a friend that said this. Tybo looks at videos and people say this. So everybody has a different viewpoint on what works best. So let's ask the group today, guys. How do you know what to do?
Hmm. Yeah, I'll go
Don't all speak
first.
at once now.
I,
Yeah.
I was waiting for
That's tell
someone to
that, that
say
that
it
that's
first.
telling right. That's telling right there.
Yeah. Uh, I'll go first and I'll say, honestly, honestly, I just hope one day I can look back and say, this is how I did it, but
Mhm.
I don't know. Because one day I do something, the next day I might do it, but I might also do something else, something different. I might try
Mhm.
something different. Um, but one thing is sure is that by doing something different every day, you kind of dig your own hole, and then you're just going down a rabbit hole
Mhm.
because you can't do everything at the same time. It is not the kind of field where you can go and say, today I'm working on cloud, or and then tomorrow I'm doing some pen testing. The next
Mhm.
day, you're into sysadmin, networking. It You'll get overwhelmed. By the time you're
Yep.
in networking, someone will ask you what is the first thing that you learned about cloud, and you'll be like, say what now?"
Excuse
So
me.
yeah, so I believe you start with one thing, you get it done, and then you move on to the next thing. When it comes to this is just about covering the topics, the different subjects or part of the field. Oh, but when it comes to your career, you actually need to find something to start with, to
Mhm.
focus on. Either is you want to start at the networking level, you want to start IT in IT. You need to, besides studying to get those certs, you need to focus on what you're actually going to work on or to start your career with, because it might not look big, but
Mhm.
once you start studying or working, getting some labs, you will realize that it is way bigger than what you believe it was. For me, cloud was mind blowing. I started by thinking that cloud was this simple thing of, just using Azure, know how to click around the website Azure portal, and then started learning about the whole different storage redundancy that there are,
Mhm.
the whole part of compliance and governance, automation. Today I learned about fault allowance. It's a whole thing
Hmm.
about update domain and fault domain.
Mhm.
things I didn't even know existed. At the same time, last week I was talking with you guys. I was on Over the Wire, working on Linux,
Mm-hmm.
and where I was looking for a file that if you just run a basic ls on your command prompt, on your command line, it will show zero files, zero directories. But yet there are thousands of files in your computer, and there are ways where you can literally look for something literally based on nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Over the Wire had one activity where I was supposed to find a file that is ASCII, which means human readable file, from nothing. I didn't have the name of the file. The only
Mm-hmm.
thing I knew was that it's a readable file.
Mm-hmm.
And there are actually ways where you can dig in that system and find that file, which
Mm-hmm.
is give you the whole perspective of how when someone hack into your system, how they are able to recover your passwords and all of that, because there are ways to look for stuff without knowing what you're actually looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just to show you that this was pen testing, and I just spoke about cloud. So there's a lot here. If you're studying to get your Linux plus, your cloud plus, your security plus, your net plus, start plan, have a roadmap, create a roadmap for yourself. Start with one, do not move to the other one until you're finished with the first one. But when it comes to labs or where you want to start your career, you actually have to find. It's not easy. I don't know what I want yet,
Mm-hmm.
but by working on those certs, when you're not studying, instead of diving into something different, how about you look for some ways to get some labs practice? And then within those labs, you can actually figure out if it's something that you like, you know, by studying with Cybrary on Cybrary, they have VMs that you can use at least 5 times a day. Every rooms or every activities you can use 5 times a day. The next day it restarts, you get it again, and then you can do that one activity over 5 times on that same day, and kind of makes you comfortable about how to navigate on the Azure website, Azure on Azure portal, and all of that through Azure portal. So for me is just wake up every day and then find one thing and stick to that thing until you're done with it. That's the best way to do it.
I think
I
you bring up
agree.
some very valid
Yeah.
points. Just to add on to what more or less what you said, Christian, because as you know, and we all know, it can be a little daunting sometimes just to kind of pick that path. Sometimes we're going for those certificates that we're studying for and trying to allocate the time appropriately on the side, whether it's being on track, mean running the simulations, whether it's hitting the hardcore textbooks and studying, whether it's, getting together and then reading different news articles and learning about new info that's coming up in the field. It's a lot. And the only thing I could probably recommend for anyone that finishes their courses or classes and doesn't know what to do with their time is really just make a schedule. Um, you won't be in class anymore. No one's gonna force you to show up. We get together here minimum one time a week, sometimes two. Everyone's got priorities, everyone's got jobs, we all have different things going on. But if you can sit down and just allocate X amount of hours I'm going to put in a day, it doesn't matter what you're learning as long as you're consistent. As long as those reps are being fulfilled daily, you're already making progression towards your pathway to your certificate or that starting position at the job or your independent studies, whatever the case may be. Because again, there's a lot of different avenues in this field. Um, I remember when we finished classes, I was all over the place for the first month. We didn't really have this podcast with these amazing people at the time. We were all scattered all over the place. We had been hustling for months to submit assignments and just kind of had a structured sense of where we were going. And once we had crossed the finish line, it was a more or less confusing time for a lot of us. Independently, we knew that we were going to be studying for our certificates, but we didn't know any deadlines or anything like that. It was just independent. Um, I think the best thing you could do is like what Christian said, and is just attack it at every angle for an X amount of time every day. I think that's so, so important, whether it's in the morning for anyone or it's at nighttime, whatever your best case scenario is. I think that's the easiest thing. I know I like to do my readings in the morning, study pocket prep, attack all the practice simulation tests just to get a basic there through of everything that I need. Then, run simulations at nighttime when I have a little bit after work for myself. And then just being able to do that 3 to 4 times a week and then regroup with you guys on Mondays is a huge, huge help versus starting this, doing that, trying this, reading that, and you're not really kind of building a path for yourself, more or less. So as long as you have the tools in front of you and you're putting in those reps, even if it's 2 hours a day minimum, I say that it's a great progression system. And I think that's very important because the schooling is going to give you that structure, but it's your stability and your sense of discipline that's going to allow you to grow in this field. So I think that's the best advice I could give for anyone.
Yeah, and
Son.
wow. You two did hit on right right on the head. Very, very important and straight to the point of what you guys are saying. I think as we finished and thinking you had a clear cut direction on what you wanted to do, because as we even went through the program, speaking for myself, I was like all over the place. I thought I wanted to do this, and as we was going through something else, I was like, oh, okay, I think I want to do this. And even as we went through them, there was times where I was like, well, it's not that I love one over the other. It's like I like this, I like that, I like them all, but I know I can't do them all. So which direction, what's going to be my focal? And coming out, I thought it was going to be cloud because I was just saying, okay, well, I'll do cloud. The tutor I worked with, he was doing cloud. Um, the more I started looking at cloud, I was like, maybe this is something I could do. But I guess I just didn't really, I just didn't love it. I was like, I could learn it. I can probably just dive into it. Um, but I knew I wanted to do something like I wanted to be a SOC analyst. I knew that's the focus I wanted to go. Um, I wanted to do that aspect. I wanted to do security. I wanted to identify threats as they were coming in and trying to isolate them, those areas. But yeah, coming out, I had no clear cut direction. Um, wasn't much help of giving me that clear cut direction, and I kind of found myself all over the place. I talk a lot about AI because I like what AI is doing. I like the use of AI. Um, is that something that I focus on also? So it's like you kind of could just end up all over the place real quick
Yeah.
Yeah.
in this space. And you're continuously telling yourself, okay, but I need to find that crack in the door so I could get in. Where do
Mhm.
I get in? And then it's like you're often told that, okay, well, once you get in, you're probably not going to be doing too much technical stuff. Okay. So what am I going to be doing if I'm not going to be doing technical? So again, what do I focus on? Do I
Mhm.
spend a lot of time over here if I'm not going to do a lot of technical and I'm going to find something where I'm going to learn and then I could learn some more and then they'll probably direct me towards something else. So it definitely was no clear cut path for I think any of us to take as we was coming out of this. And
Mhm.
I think where we're at now, it's been some time that we've are developing clear-cut paths that we want to go in, a
Yes.
direction that we want to take
Mm-hmm.
in this. I'm still, looking, security, SOC analyst, engineer. Maybe within that, I'll steer over into cloud.
Yep.
Um, I could see myself doing that as well as I'm going through this, continuing to learn more about AI, how to utilize it, how to institute it in my daily work operations. Because I was telling Bindi earlier that I remember in class I asked a question to our instructors about AI. Because if you remember, throughout the course on a dashboard, there was no form of AI component on that dashboard until around week 9 or 11. When you logged on, you went into the dashboard. On the very bottom, there was an open box. You could type in anything you want to ask a question, even about um, something that we was doing that day. You could put in that question, and there was a chat that will give you random information about what we was doing that day and how to approach it. That came out of nowhere. That came around week 9 or 11. I think it was more close to week 11 in our program. But I remember asking the
Mm-hmm.
instructors what their thoughts were on the use of AI moving forward in this field. Is this something that we should be focusing on as far as learning how to implement it in our daily operations that's moving forward in cybersecurity? Um, they said, nah, it'll be a while before it really affects or get into play. Well, fast forward, here we are. We probably was the last group. I would say anybody that might have studied anything about cybersecurity as of July, August of 2024 were probably the last group of people anywhere in this country that studied anything about cybersecurity and got nothing on AI. After that, AI was a part of your curriculum. That's something we should have been, it should have been part of our curriculum as we was going through this week. It should have been a weekend in. We should have scraped on it somehow, how we could implement it, how we would be able to use it in this field.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't do it. Now, as learning or preparing to get into this field and navigating our way through the weeds here, we also got to think about how do we utilize AI and what we do. Again, that was just something else that came with the came with the process of where we're at right now. But it's all right. It's all right because I think one of the things about where we are currently, we're in a space where we are still learning a lot of different things, um, reinventing ourselves probably all the time, and adding more resources to our tool belt. So
Mm-hmm. You guys made like really great points. And the biggest thing that I want to say is loving to learn is a blessing and a curse because it's a blessing because in this field, that's all you're going to be doing is learning something. But it's a curse because until you realize what you want to do, you want to learn everything. You want to
Everything.
know it all. And then that's how you get distracted. That's how you we have a tendency to only have a attention span between like 3 seconds and 3 minutes because of social media. And I say this time and time again. And that is the biggest influencer, I believe, in today's day and age that kind of keeps us away from what we want to do because we just don't have the ability to pay attention. And Taiwan and I spoke to this earlier that we have to reprogram our program brain to not be like that because 10 years ago our brain wasn't like that. Our brain wasn't holding an attention span of 3 minutes unless you had ADHD, but I feel like something like that has kind of been heightened in today's day and age with all of these crazy videos and everything out there. Everything out there. That's again, learner, blessing and a curse. The other thing I love that you guys said is you have to stay consistent. Whatever you pick to do, stay consistent with it. If your path is SOC analyst, how do you get to that goal? What are the steps you follow? What do you have to do? What certifications do you have to get? Now you got to make a plan. How do you get into the door? What do you do to get from point A to point B to point C? It's literally like a master plan. It's not just a roadmap. I feel like it's like how do I get the treasure at the end of the rainbow? You got to plan it out. You have to look at it. Have if you're like me, I need a physical view of it. I need to have like, okay, first do this, second do this. So make that plan, guys. It is so crucial 7 months later, and we're just now figuring this out because we were never told. We were never told. We all have our own ways of learning, and we all taught ourselves
Yeah.
what we know today after classes because it was just so much information. I know I took a good like 2 months off. Like I don't want to look at it. I don't want to and by the time we got back, it was straight into here. And if it wasn't for us meeting up, like Lorenzo said, meeting up here once a week, I don't think I'd still be where I am right now. And I feel for some of those that were in our class that doesn't have the support system that we have, that
Sure.
doesn't have the connection that we have made here because I don't know where they are. I don't know. And I feel like I just hope that they're not stuck because it's so easy to get stuck, to get to the ledge and say, all right, I'm done. We all have talked each other down so many times. We all know this. So it's a lot to keep up with it. And it's not even just the changing technologies, it's the basics too. Like how do you keep up with just remembering how to use PowerShell if you didn't use it? If you don't use it every day? How do you do Linux if you don't use it? Cloud security, how do you? It's changing, but if you don't know the basics now because you forgot because there was a 101 things going on in classes, how do you keep up with it? That's why I think choosing what you're best at, zoning in on your strengths and just following it because that's going to lead you to that goal. And actually, Try Hack Me, I've got to bring up Try Hack Me at least once. Try Hack Me has a quiz that you can take that will tell you, based on your answers, what it thinks is best plan path for you. So, if you're stuck in a rut, Try Hack Me might help you out. It was spot on for me. Spot on. I know Christian and Taiwo took it. I don't know if you did, Lorenzo.
No, I took it a few months back, but I haven't
Yeah.
dabbled with it recently.
Okay, yeah. That quiz it told me pen tester essentially, and I was like, thank you. That was what I wanted, and that's what I got. It just kind of reassured me. So, Lorenzo, I would just go into it if you can, because that's
She's
yeah.
selling this like the
I
discount code's
listen.
coming at the end.
Listen.
Sprinkle,
Yeah.
sprinkle, 50% off at the bottom
Discount
of my
code.
bio.
Yep.
No, but I will. I definitely will. And
It's yeah.
that's going on the book for this week to do. But you're absolutely right, Bindi. And stuff like that, like it really gives you the reassurance and guidance that you need to just keep pushing forward just to land those roles because this is a growing field and a lot of
Mhm.
things are changing every week, honestly. All
Yeah.
the requirements and updates. So it's very good to utilize all your resources, like you said.
And speaking of resources, the one thing that I want to throw out there is we all follow different people for social media and cybersecurity who are in the field, who have done it, who have shows, who have boot camps, who just talk about it like we do. They all have a different path. They all have a different journey. One person says start here, you'll end here. One person says start here, you'll end here. It is hard to say, okay, this is my path. I
Yep, that's
can
true.
listen to this person, but if I'm listening to this person, I can't listen to this person and that person. You have to pick. You have to pick. These are all mini battles that you're fighting. You have to pick which one and stick to it. You can't run around. This isn't like trick or treating.
No.
This is
So
building a house.
somebody told me, well, actually, I saw it online, and then I had mentioned it to a friend of mine who's not in cybersecurity, but he's in the tech business, and he said this business is like it's like a hike. Like when you go hiking and you start, you see the map and you see all the different colors of all the different paths. And he said to me, whatever you do, pick a color and stay with it. Because the
Mhm.
second you start switching your paths, you will just start to zigzag all
Mhm.
throughout the forest, and then you'll just end up more
Yep.
lost than you first started. Doesn't
Yep.
mean you can't look at the other ones, and it doesn't
Mhm.
mean you can't circle back to the other paths, but finish what you started and just come back out where your destination needs to be. You want to go
Mhm.
try the other colors, the different
Fine.
paths, go ahead, but do that at your own will, at your own time. Finish what you start, be continuous, be thorough with it,
Mhm.
and then you'll be able to accomplish everything you need because he's like, when I was your age and he was telling me this, he was like, I wanted to dabble in everything. I wanted to try everything,
Mhm.
and I was just more lost than I started in the first place. So he's like, just
Mhm.
just allocate your time appropriately and just get those reps. Like everyone said here, you'll be fine. So
Yeah. Yeah.
little by
And
little.
That's
yeah.
Tell you,
Exactly.
yeah.
cybersecurity got us all like Gorham, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Precious, my little precious.
Yeah, you look over at the green trail, but then you're on the blue.
Yeah.
You're like, but orange looks
Yeah.
fun too.
Ooh,
I
piece
like
of
the
candy.
orange. And the next thing you know, you're deeper in the forest than you were,
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
and you
And
might
now you
find a
just lost the
lion and a
trail.
bear, and then you might find you
Okay,
never know
well,
what you'll find.
Yeah. You
she
mix
said
too
And you
many
it.
don't know how to
colors
go
and you
back.
don't know.
You don't know. You're just lost in the woods, man. So
Yeah.
just
Yeah. You're like it's worse than Dorothy.
yeah, at least Dorothy had a guide. You don't have a
I know.
guide.
At least she got back home with her friends.
Yeah, you might end up at the castle if you just keep playing around. So I think it's best just pick a path, get the reps, and stay
Mhm.
consistent. Consistency is
Yeah.
everything in this.
Yes.
And if you can, and anyone that's watching this, network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many people that are out there that they have so many different tool sets. Maybe not even cybersecurity, but they might have dabbled in the fields in different ways of your liking, and they might be able to give you better input than you ever thought you could. Every time I think I know some program that's helping me out, I learn something better. And someone tells me that another program and then do this or do that or don't try this or don't try that. And it's just you just gotta keep going. You're
Mhm.
gonna just fail a ton. And I
Yeah.
hate to say that because it's not encouraging, but if you love to learn, you're gonna fail miserably here and you're gonna just enjoy the ride because little by little
Yeah.
you're gonna keep piecing things together and you're just gonna watch yourself build more and more
Yeah.
certificates, projects, home labs, networking,
Mhm.
job opportunities, job fairs. There's just an endless source of opportunities in this career field. So it's it's fun, but just stay on
But
the blue trail. Don't go
Yeah.
to orange. Don't go to
Yeah.
green.
If
Just
you
stay
stay
on the
on the
if you
blue.
path.
start if you start on the blue, stay on the blue. If you start on the green, stay on the green.
Please,
It's
please.
it's it'll drive you batshit crazy. Let's just face it. It will.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of self-control to stay on the path that you have chosen because everything looks so shiny and beautiful and there's sparkles and that one's got pizza included. I don't know. I don't know. But to your point, Lorenzo, there was this one line. I don't know if I already said it, but it's from a movie. You haven't truly failed until you stop trying.
I don't know what movie this is from, but I like that
Well,
quote.
I
Oh, here
heard
it
it.
is. Here it is.
I think I'm gonna say
For
it, but
500 points.
it's not though. It's not one movie though. I've heard it a lot in a couple of
Mhm.
different movies, but I think recently I heard it in a show on Netflix. The name is Ozark.
Ozark. Okay.
Yeah,
That's that's the name of the show?
yeah.
Okay. That sounds
By the way,
I saw it in Dungeons and
Deep.
Dragons.
it's deep.
I have other homework to do now. See, I was on the blue trail. Now I'm going to orange, guys. I'm deviating
See?
from what I said now. See,
No.
One thing, and you think the
blue.
grass is greener on the other side. It's not. It's not.
Really? 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 It's not? It's not?
It's
I was
not.
always told
I
I
don't
was
know.
always
I'll
told
let
it
you know when
was.
I
You're
finish the
telling me
blue
it's
You were
trail.
not?
taught wrong.
I'll go check out the grass after I'm done. I'm staying true to my trail, so I don't know, but
Stay on my side of the fence.
y'all can have
man.
fun on the orange trail. I'm on blue, so.
I'm on green. It's okay. I'm staying here. Staying. I'm
Okay.
good. It's
But at the-
comfy here.
Moral of the story, guys: stay consistent. That's it. Okay.
Yes.
Stay
Stay
consistent.
consistent. Stay
So.
consistent. Yeah, keep yourself disciplined. It's important, guys. And hopefully that's why we're here, is to less deviation for you, but more knowledge of helping you awake what you've always had inside of you.
Hmm.
That's
Is-
Bindi,
is that a-
2025.
Oh, that's not a movie quote. Okay, I was
No.
ready to write it.
I mean,
Oh.
it might be. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I'm just spewing words. They come to me. You know. It's like the backdoor earlier. Just gonna.
Oh
leave
yes.
that.
Yes.
Yeah. We're
yes,
just gonna leave it there.
Yes. Yes.
So that's all I got, guys. Before it gets spicy in here.
Yes. I think
You-
I think Benny's gonna insert her 10% discount code for all her programs that she's secretly promoting, guys. So I'll catch you guys on the flip side, and link in the bio for all the discount codes that Benny's gonna promote for all the different companies that she's got allocated for sponsorships. So I'm just kidding.
And it's better if you do it tonight though, because
Yeah,
like,
24
it's
hour
expiring,
window.
so it's like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get
So
it
hurry
as
up and
fast as
buy.
possible.
Hurry
like,
up and buy. Yeah.
I mean,
earlier
Try
you get it,
Hack
better
Me.
it
I
is.
definitely got a code for Try Hack Me. So I will say that.
You know,
For Try Hack Me, I do.
You know what they say? This is
I
how
do.
it starts. This is how it starts, and then we're gonna have ads soon. Sooner or later, we're gonna
Yeah,
have
soon,
You're gonna see ads
soon.
popping up. It's gonna be like the TikTok shop. It's just gonna
Yeah,
keep
right.
just popping up everywhere, guys. So
But in a good way. It's not going to be like, oh, I searched for an Old Navy shirt 3 days ago and now I'm seeing this shirt everywhere for the next 3 weeks.
that's how it starts. It's the beginning of the end. That's what it is.
I mean, we won't get into that today. Let's save that. Also, This Is the End, great movie. That awesome. If you haven't seen it, hilarious.
This is the end.
Or
Add
is I think
that
it's
to the
called This Is
list.
the End. Yeah, I'm
Yep.
pretty sure it's called This Is the End. Yeah,
This is the
it's a good
end.
movie. It's hilarious. If you like comedy, if you like to laugh, it's
You guys watched Zero Day?
Yeah, I
Yes.
did. I did.
No, I did not.
I did. Everybody kept
Ooh.
asking me, can that really happen? I said, what do you think?
Can?
I said, what do you
saying?
think? He was like,
Can?
can that really happen?
What
I
kind
said,
of
what do you
question
think?
is that?
Yeah,
I said, if
good.
they can conceive it, what do you think?
Paulo always told us if you thought of it, someone else has too. Okay.
Thank you. I heard
Period.
it wasn't from someone. I think I read it somewhere on the internet, and someone said if they made a movie out of it, they're working on it, or it's happening.
Exactly.
Period.
I don't know. No, I don't know. But if you watch the news lately, a lot of things saying about electricity and more and
And,
more and more and more, you know?
and let me say
So,
this. Let me say this. One thing about that movie and the lady that ran the tech, the billionaire with the tech
mm,
company. I said one of her biggest complaints was something that we discussed in one of our videos. And I kept saying it too, was about guardrails. And that was her complaint, as to how the government wanted to put guardrails on what they could do. And I had pointed that out because my wife and I was watching it, and I said that thing called guardrails keeps coming up. So it's really interesting how they keep throwing that up there. I was like, but hey, if they can think about it and put it in a show, do you think it could really happen?
Oh yeah, definitely plausible. Definitely.
That was my comment to a lot of people that asked me, and I just left it at that.
If you
They
can
said, "Well,
see someone
can it happen?
conceiving it.
Can it really happen?" I said,
not sure
"I
that
don't know."
that's the right question, but that's
I
what you're
said,
asking.
"I'll try it and let you know."
All right, people, get some water paper at home, buy some
Yes.
flashlights, batteries, you know.
Yeah,
Stay consistent with your plans.
and stay on the blue trail, please.
One,
Or
Please.
1 minute.
green or purple, whichever one.
1 minute.
Just
Shut it down for 1 minute.
yes, yes.
All right, guys. This is Boss Crew signing out. Bye.
Peace.